Yeah. So
we can't start. We're coming in with laughs. No, we're starting straight. Let's
start
go.
straight right now.
Yes.
Just like this.
Yes.
No banging on the table.
No. Oh yeah. Cut.
Cut.
Future Jerry. Cut.
With the last
action. Take 2. Go.
This podcast is not called Squadcast, but that's what I'm calling it for now because this is our practice run. What's up, Justin?
And if Squadcast is trademarked, then it's not Squadcast.
Exactly. We don't step on trademarks here.
No, or copyrights.
No way.
No.
Why would we
that's
do that?
not us.
Justin, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Just doing a podcast.
Sounds like a plan. I'm also doing a podcast right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What's yours called?
Mine's called maybe Squadcast.
Okay.
Not sure yet.
Okay.
We'll have
That's fun.
Have to dig in.
What topic are you guys doing today?
Well, I'm interested to hear what topic you're doing today.
I don't know. I didn't get the memo on mine. I just kind of figured I would show up and I would just talk around people.
All right, this is getting off to a really bad start. So let's just get right into it like normal.
Okay, so action.
No,
Cut.
no, it's all staying. I'm keeping it all. No cutting room floor.
Cut. Go.
I don't know. Do you want to just go right into it?
Yeah, let's just go into it, man. Let's jump into it.
Jump into it.
Jump into it.
That's definitely not okay to say.
No, you think he copyrighted that?
He might have.
Okay.
They're like, who's he?
Yeah, no, right?
Nobody's saying that because nobody's listening.
I know. Right? The 3 people, they're all Philip DeFranco watchers, actually. All 3 of them. They're like, yeah, we have some weird overlap.
All right. Hey, have you boycotted anything in your life?
As a matter of fact, I've said I was going to boycott many things and have not boycotted anything.
That sounds like the dream and the sentiment of most in America. And I'm in the same boat. I definitely have done it before in my younger days.
It's hard not to get angry.
It is.
And then you're like, you know what? I'm not going to give this company any money.
Yeah.
And then a month later, you're like, what was I mad about in the first place?
And I need something.
Can't even remember. Yeah.
How am I supposed to get my chicken sandwich?
Exactly. Hearthstone just released a new card. It's only $20. Let me get on that.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the Hearthstone situation.
Yeah, that was a big one. Did you miss that one?
I missed it.
Missed it completely. All right. Well, you know all the China shit that's been going on.
Absolutely.
Right? All right. So Blizzard was one in the many lines of company to kowtow to China. So what happened there was a Taiwanese tournament. I think it was Grandmasters tournament. One of the players, they usually interview the victor for a couple minutes, and they try their hardest not to spurg out. And they asked him, generic questions, and then he popped on a mask. All right, one of those gas masks that they're wearing during the Hong Kong protest. Mm-hmm. Not trying to get in a Hong Kong protest here. That's a little too weighty a subject.
Just a bit. It's episode 1.
I know.
It's episode 0.
I know people are mad though.
Me too.
So then the casters go, okay, say the 8 words, or say what you're gonna say or whatever. So he says, free Hong Kong, the revolution of our times, and so. Blizzard immediately cuts from him, and then a couple days.
Cut.
Yeah. A couple days later, they ban that guy for a year from the tournament.
Was he a big guy? Like aside from winning the tournament, like was he a big guy in it just in general?
Yeah.
Name recognition in Hearthstone.
Maybe, I don't know. Hold his winnings, so they cut his winnings, which I forget how much, but it was several tens of thousands of dollars, and then they fired both the casters.
Oh.
So when this all happened, there was a outrage on the internet.
Always.
All around, people were flipping out.
Outrage machine switched to on.
Initially, it looked like Blizzard was gonna hit, this is what I recommend to any CEO, billionaires out there. You guys own a company.
You're listening. Yeah, we know you are.
Yeah, you're there. You're here. Just ignore it. People are going to. It's just going to fade so quickly. unless of course you don't have anything relatively new coming out for a while. Like if say whatever game you have, say you're a gaming company, and your game's going to be stagnant for a while, maybe you might have to do something. But if they were right on the eve of BlizzCon, and so they had a bunch of new shit coming out. People have already fucking forgotten. They issued like a semi-apology. They walk back his ban to 6 months from a year. They gave him his prize monies, but the casters are still fired. So in the grand scheme of things, so they walked it back like a half a step.
So so 2 guys end up losing their jobs.
Yes.
The guy, has to wait however long to get his winnings, and he's still partial banned.
Yes.
Over something that they could have just not even really worried about.
Yes, but obviously the issue is, and you see this happening with the NBA, it's just there's that outside pressure, from China. Obviously,
inside pressure too.
It's hard for us to talk about because I don't think we can. Almost nobody on the internet can fully grasp the kind of pressure that these corporations are getting. It's really impossible. We don't know if they are getting significant threats like we're going to pull you completely from the country. So have fun losing out on a quarter of your revenue.
That's completely what happened to the Rockets with Daryl Morey. Morey? It's
a Morey.
It's a Morey. Yeah, the GM of the Rockets. It's same thing. China literally pulled all the Houston Rockets merch. Said they weren't going to broadcast any more of the NBA preseason games, and then he's got to hear from LeBron James, and nobody wants to hear from LeBron James.
I thought that obviously I think everyone pointed this out, but it's really ironic coming from him to say shut up and manage.
Right.
When, you got the Fox News talking heads just a few years ago, shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
It's just funny seeing the hypocrisy when it finally the money's on his table being pulled away. And he's like, wait a second.
I want to point out that what we're really truly taking the Mickey out on, poking a stick at, is this lack of ability to stick with these protests or these boycotts that people just are conjuring up over sometimes really small trifles. Sometimes they're big things, and they can be big things, but it tends to never really lend itself to anything really grandiose at all.
It's always a flash in the pan.
Absolutely.
It's just people raging on Reddit, the front page of the NBA subreddit or the Hearthstone subreddit, or recently the Pokemon subreddit are just people who are just angry to be angry. And
I didn't even realize that people were that angry about the Pokemon one. And when we were talking about doing this, I went to the Pokemon subreddit, I just searched boycott, and there's tens of threads about it, and depending on how you sort the comments, you can see the general sentiment from a lot of people saying, no, this is dumb, like it's a company, they can do whatever they want, and then some people saying, no, but they're gonna get greedy, and they're gonna just do whatever they want with the game. And it's like that. Well, that's kind of the point. It is their game.
Yeah. And this is actually an interesting topic. All of itself is. And I hate to jump in this topic because I used to just be so angry when I saw it. It's gamer entitlement. And I think the first time we probably all saw people band together to kind of push the whole gamers are entitled, blah, 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 was Mass Effect 3 ending. Was kind of when everyone united and went, look at those dumb assholes. They're mad about a video game ending. And, I mean, looking back, I think it's still justified because you're looking at the very ending of a trilogy where through game 1, they told you something was going to be a certain way. Through game 2, they told you something was going to be a certain way. Then through 95% of the third game, they told you something was going to be a certain way. And then the last second, they were like, psych. And just
did D&D write that game?
Subverting expectations.
They were the first to do
it. They invented it.
Actually, I think George Lucas was probably the first one to really go hard on it.
I guarantee that's been a thing since like Shakespeare.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I vaguely remember the outcry about the mask. I wasn't huge into the gaming community back then. I just liked to play video games. I remember a buddy of mine was very up in arms about the ending. I hadn't even finished it yet, and he to the point was telling me you shouldn't even bother finishing it because you're just going to be disappointed. And I ended up not finishing it because I have trouble with that with video games sometimes. I finished the first two Mass Effect, no problem. The third one I kind of drug my feet.
I feel like the third one kind of dropped at the same point in my life where I just started not finishing games or kind of not pushing through or sometimes buying them and never playing them. Like there was a certain day in my life where I woke up and was like, I'm never gonna complete a goddamn thing again, and I'm all right with that.
You grew as a person.
Exactly. To the man I've become.
To the man you have become, and what a man.
What a mighty fine man.
A fine man. I in doing some research, I didn't even realize. So, back when I used to work for Best Buy, similar situation where I kind of to the Chick-fil-A situation where a lot of money. Well, in the Chick-fil-A situation, the owner, the CEO, I can't remember who exactly was donating a lot of money to these different foundations, which then donated money to different organizations against LGBT.
Donateception there.
Right,
It wasn't
exactly.
even him, yeah.
But regardless, and I saw that there was a similar situation with Best Buy where Best Buy donated money for campaign funds to a Minnesota.
You better not say Republican.
It was definitely
I'm going to
Republican.
flip this table.
Oh, it was Republican. Oh, yeah.
I'm never shopping at Best Buy.
Have you been to Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Sorry, everybody in Minnesota, all three of you.
We have that far reach.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's very Midwest is about our reach. It's cold there right now. They can't go outside. It's cold there all the time, I guess.
So they're podcast shopping.
Oh, yeah. And they've definitely left this one. So apparently
And cut.
apparently I think he was a senator, or he was running for senator, that they donated money to had very strong anti-LGBT Q, all the letters, views, and even tried to pass legislation against same-sex marriage and everything. And that apparently sparked an outcry against Best Buy, people saying that they were going to boycott and not shop there. And I can tell you, it all occurred in this time span that I worked there, and I didn't really notice less people coming in.
Well, I didn't even know it was a thing, so that tells you how
And
far
neither did I.
how far-reaching that boycott
Yeah,
was.
and I feel like that's the sentiment with a lot of them. I don't know. I was reading because I literally just typed in boycott on Google, right? And I just tried to look at active and inactive boycotts over the last 20, 30 years. Most of the ones that I could even recognize were out of the United States, and they were like really big ones.
Well, I mean, if you can't tell in the modern world, other countries seem to have their shit together when it comes to kind of non-violent protesting.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Hong Kong. Could you ever imagine that many people in America gathering to protest something?
Not unless a prize was was at the end of it, like the Cracker Jack box.
Yeah.
But no, and I was wondering when I was reading this, I was wondering if the reason that nothing really comes to full fruition is a complete lack of conviction, that these people do care, they just don't care enough, or they're not sure how much they should care. Is it and in my mind the or to this was, or are they just looking for those sweet internet points?
That's always the question.
If people who get super outraged on Twitter and Facebook about these things, it's hard to trust their actual conviction, not necessarily their full blown, but just their actual conviction in general. Do they really care about this issue, or did they hear somebody else talk about it and they decided, I'm going to let everyone else know how upset I am about it?
Yeah, essentially virtue signaling through boycott.
Yep.
Or not even boycotts. It's kind of the equivalent of telling people that you started working out.
Right.
It's to get those points by saying you're going to do something with absolutely zero, intention to actually follow through to the fullest degree of that.
To really put your all behind it and say, you know what, no matter what, this is the hill I'll die on, kind of thing. And you see that Hong Kong, those guys are literally dying on that hill, and a week and a half later, everybody was going in for crispy chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A and milkshakes.
They're good.
The milkshake is really good.
I mean, what am I supposed to go to Wendy's? When am I supposed to go to McDonald's?
Wendy's nuggets are horrible.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Please sponsor us.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
What am I going to cut my quality of life just to make a stand about something that I find important? I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
Why would you? We're American.
Exactly. We say we're going to do something so that other people look at us fondly, and then we do what we want.
Exactly. They look at it. You know what? That Justin guy, he was really upset about that Chick-fil-A situation. So he had a whole number one hanging out his mouth 3 days later. Not a big deal.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He fights for what he believes in, and he eats what he believes in.
I can tell you, I know you. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen me boycott everything.
At least you talked about it.
I boycotted pants last week.
Hey, listen. Boycotting pants is, I think, something that we can all get behind.
Nice.
Ayo. Cheers, buddy.
But back to I think the big one that's going on right now is probably the most hilarious one in a while, because at least the other ones, you're looking at it and people are trying to boycott it out of some sense of virtue, like maybe in their heart of hearts, they really do believe that Chick-fil-A is an evil chicken corporation, or that Blizzard is in China's pocket, and that's bad because reasons. With the Pokemon one, it's literally
very topical with the release as well.
I know, yeah. I bought it.
I gotta wait.
So, what's hilarious is that they're posing it as a boycott, but if you really think about it, not buying a product because you don't think you'll like it, it's not a boycott. That's
normal
buying
consumerism. The boycott would be wrapping yourself around GameStop and chaining yourself to the doors and not letting anybody in.
Yeah, it's.
Wait, do people still buy video games at GameStop?
That's where I got
GameStop. Please sponsor us.
That's where I got mine. I actually traded in. They're having a great special right now. This GameStop. Hold on, let me find the script.
I'm probably gonna get mine at Best Buy Gamers Club, which
yeah.
is unfortunately being discontinued, but I still get the perks of it.
I got $60 for trading in 2 games.
It's pretty good for GameStop.
I know. Well,
it was credit. That's why.
Well, they always give you half the value of the games you trade in, which is typical pawn shop behavior.
Exactly.
Which, if you're trading in games to GameStop, you're treating them as a pawn shop. Just like things.
The only thing is you just can't get them back, really.
Yeah. But just like a normal pawn shop, you go in there knowing I could sell this myself, but I don't want to go through the effort, so just give me what you'll give me. And I remember people joke, oh, you'll get $5 for that. It's like, no, they have a very standard thing that they've been acting since, been doing since the dawn of time. They're not changing the formula. I don't know how people come out of that and be like, oh,
I'm sure it's gone down a little bit since inception because they've obviously tweaked it to, keep profit up, of course.
No,
and
they always give you half of what they sell it for.
That's all it is?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, always been that way. Hell, they gave me more because I think they were running a promo where it was an extra $5 per trade-in.
You pre-ordered like 6 things.
No. Why would I pre-order?
Well, all I see on the internet is they come in and say, first off, you got to trade in the 3 games and your console for $7. Then you got to see if you want to buy any pre-owned games. Then you got to pre-order about 6 different games that are coming out. 3 of them you don't even want.
No, you know what? Funnily enough, I got a new GameStop employee. He was green. He had to have the guy tell him how to do the trade-ins. Nice. So he didn't have the spiels down yet. I was like, this is the dream. This guy's not gonna try and sell me a goddamn thing. Because he can barely sell me the thing he is selling me.
Right, and he was a teenager probably. Teenagers can't talk to people.
Young 20s.
That's
more like GameStop employees can't talk to anything. They hire a special breed. They're essentially the people that are too dumb to work at a game store, like a D&D shop.
Goodbye GameStop. thanks for listening for as long as you did.
And come on in, Wizards of the Coast.
Hey! God, if any... I don't care. Almost anything could happen at Wizards of the Coast and I wouldn't boycott.
No, and I'm starting to, like, I got really mad about the Hearthstone thing, and I was like, I'm never going to give them another dollar. But then I started to pull back, and I'm like, why? Like, why? They're a corporation.
Huge corporation.
Like, I can, if they put out something, and I think I'll like it, you know what? I'll fucking give them money. Who gives a shit? Like, this is a kind of mutual relationship you have with these corporations. They put out stuff you want, and then you give them money. Like, who cares, you know, if they're kowtowing to China?
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
You know, if China was like, if you don't say, you know, burn Hong Kong to the ground tomorrow, you're going to get, you know, we just bought, I can't say my firm name. We just bought your law firm, you know? If you don't say burn Hong Kong to the ground, we're cutting your salary in half. I'd wear clothes that said burn Hong Kong.
Burn Hong Kong and hang Del Morey by his thumbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Del Morey.
So
Houston Rockets sponsor us.
And these people are dealing with millions of dollars. Even if they lost 10% of their revenue, okay? Say that's all China contributed.
Right.
How many people would they have to lay off? We're dealing with people's lives at a certain point where, like, we're going to have to lay off
people who didn't make those decisions to do those things.
Exactly.
They're just trying to, you know, make a living.
They want to keep their fucking job.
Yeah.
And I think that's
a big part
acceptable.
Of it. And that brings to my third, which I hadn't thought of originally when I was thinking of the reasons why people don't, you know, full commit to these things. I had the, you know, lack of conviction or only wanting to, you know, care about internet points. And Amber actually brought this one up to me. It was realizing that you just don't have the power. That even as a collective, because of how big these corporations are, you just don't have the power. Even if you have full conviction, you're not going to be able to stop enough people, and they're going to have enough to either silence you or effectively silence you by not caring because you're a vocal minority that's not enough of a majority. And I wonder if it would take a certain level of a group to make any type of real change like this.
Yeah, and it's always going to take a large enough group with large enough convictions, which it just doesn't exist in at least modern America. That's just something you're never gonna find. And obviously, that, you know, they say in negotiations, he who cares less wins, and that's what you're up against. You're up against people who don't care, right? You know, like you would. So in say the Hearthstone thing, you would need to get together a large enough group of people who you are absolutely certain are going to stop paying Blizzard money till the end of time to outweigh the entire Chinese market for them to care. Like, at some point you gotta go, you know, my glory years are too short to be fighting losing battles with corporations over shit that kind of matters.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and I always find it a little ironic that you do have corporations that you could probably consider legitimately evil, like straight out of James Bond level, like cat petting, you know, evil, you know, like
pinky finger up to the corner of the mouth,
like fucking Nestle is out here fucking depriving African countries of water so that they have to buy their bottled water, and we're like, but they said they banned a competitive Hearthstone player for a year.
Meanwhile, we're cracking open that water. Glug, glug, glug.
God, this chocolate milk's so good. It's like, seriously, like, at least get your priorities straight. If you're actually gonna apply your convictions to something, find something that's actually worth, you know, having convictions over.
Yeah. I don't think I have any convictions.
No.
Not enough to make me want to stop.
This podcast should be called the No Convictions Podcast. We're just two dudes who don't give a shit about anything.
Nope, just drinking and playing games and drinking.
And waiting till the slow, inevitable heat death of the universe.
Yes.
That's what we pray for every day. Every day I wake up and wish for an apocalypse.
Can't wait to cross the beautiful boundary of that event horizon. just eclipse into nothingness. That's the dream. The real American dream.
So, boycotts.
Yeah. Gosh, I think that's about as much as I have to say on the topic overall.
Really? We've only been doing this for literally 4 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's not long at all.
No.
Generally, people listen to the podcast for a lot longer.
Do we have any viewer questions?
Well, let me scroll through No Convictions podcast Twitter, and it looks like nothing. Nothing. Nobody has any questions because why would they question us?
Yo, what about the Browns player? Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. I'm protesting the Browns.
I know.
That was horrible.
I'm burning my Johnny Football jersey as we speak.
You can't see me, but I'm doing the Johnny Manziel money thing.
The Billy Vegas.
The Billy Vegas. No, but for real, that I didn't see it live because why in the world would I watch Thursday Night Football?
I fell asleep during the fourth quarter.
It's the worst thing that I think the NFL has done is Thursday Night Football.
I do appreciate the fact that there is football on a Thursday night, but I don't like that there's Thursday Night Football. Does that make any sense?
I think it makes as much sense as boycotting things that you don't have conviction on.
Which we just talked about.
Exactly. It's called a callback, people.
Wow. We're on top of this whole thing.
A 2-minute callback. Anyway, I caught it the next morning, and I only caught the clips that they would show you on Twitter, and eventually I was finally able to get a full the full replay of what happened. And so it looks like Myles Garrett takes Rudolph down a little late. They were kind of dancing, they were waltzing a little bit, and they went down, and then he just clobbers him with his own helmet. Like,
absolutely hilarious.
Like, what? That's some that's some NFL Blitz 2000 shit.
I could never really catch in the Zapruder film how he got the helmet into his hands. Because it looks like it just came off and suddenly it's in his hands.
Yeah.
Did he rip it off?
So I was able to. They showed a couple angles when I was looking at it on Twitter. I was at work because that's what I do at work. And it looks like, and this is interesting because a lot of people have been kind of defending Myles Garrett a little bit because of this. So after they go down, you can see Mason Rudolph is actually tugging at Myles Garrett's the bottom of his helmet, trying to pull it off of him. It looks like. I don't know if that's 100%. I can't say for sure, but that's certainly what it looks like. He doesn't get it. Right? So while Myles Garrett's getting up, he rips from the face mask.
He's like, let me show you how to fucking do this.
Exactly.
Shit.
He's like, your arms are like twigs. My arms are like 7 of your arms. Let me show you how it's done. So he gets it off of him, and he's kind of like, it's kind of like swinging to the side of him. Shouldn't have moved that far away from the mic. Sorry about that. And he's kind of being held back a little bit by Pouncey and the other Steelers lineman, because who knows the name of the Steelers lineman. And Mason Rudolph's kind of trying to still get in his face, and he just decides, I'm going to hammer throw this bad boy right on top of your dome, and he cranks him. And Mason Rudolph does the soccer. Ah, what is that? He didn't fall to the ground, which I thought would have been a lot better move. And then Myles Garrett gets thrown down and kicked in the skull.
I know that.
The covered skull, luckily.
Yeah, Pouncey, right? Just beat the ever-loving
Just
shit
went after him. And then he stopped and was like, what? I didn't do anything.
That entire exchange was awesome.
It was.
1. And 2, it should be allowed, man. Allow it. Let's go full hockey. I'm tired of this.
Full hockey. Yeah, I mean,
dip it and rip it, man. What are we doing?
I still can't get over the idea that these guys get penalized, like badly penalized and fined for hits that are, in general, really not that. Yes, they're hard hits and everything's much faster and everybody's a lot stronger than it used to be, whatever. But then you got guys like you mentioned in hockey. A literal huge part of the game is throwing your gloves off and punching another man in the face multiple times until they go down. The refs don't stop it until you go down because apparently being on the ground is a lot worse than being up and punching each other. But I don't know. I'm not big on the swinging the helmet especially since the guy 2 games ago got knocked unconscious on the field and had a really bad concussion. But I don't know. I think what's crazy is the indefinite ban.
I think that was the smartest way to go about it, and I think it's gonna do exactly what they want. So obviously, to tie back to earlier, the second something happens, people are extremely mad.
Oh yeah.
So you wait until they barely even fucking remember. Yeah, for instance, I cannot remember what Burfict did to get his season-long suspension. I don't remember. So
did he even play this season? I don't care about the Raiders.
He fucked someone up real bad while they were just chilling there, or he did. This is what I'm talking about. I can't even fucking remember. So you give me 6 more weeks. I'm gonna barely. I might remember this one only because of how unique it was.
It is. I haven't ever heard of it. I've seen. I heard about. I've heard of guys throwing things at the referees and throwing their cleats at guys, but never ripping a dude's helmet off and going full tomahawk.
This might be kind of the NFL's version of when the one dude took the stick and just smashed it over the dude's neck or whatever. Yeah, this could be the NFL's version of that, where people are talking about it for years to come.
Yeah, this is what's his name charging the mound at the umpire. Or the umpire coming up, and then they're fighting.
Randy Johnson exploding that person.
He gets suspended. No, I know. I'm suspended for that. Are you crazy?
PETA didn't step in on that one. They didn't boycott the MLB.
That's how you do a callback. Stupid Jerry. No, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't think. Obviously, I think Myles Garrett will lose the rest of the season because that's
and then they'll reinstate him quietly in the offseason.
Yeah,
during draft week or something.
They'll be like, oh, he went through the processes he needs to do. He submitted his apology. Yeah. He already did. I saw the thing on Twitter where he said he wants to apologize to Mason Rudolph, and of course, everybody who knows, I would assume that's probably was a written statement for him.
Yeah.
But
he's got a PR team.
Yeah, I mean, I want to assume the best that he's actually remorseful for what he did, and it was a heat of the moment thing because he's never done anything like this before, at least that I can remember. If you'd have told me Vontaze Burfict did this and then apologized for it, I'd be like, that's bullshit. He doesn't care. But I think that what I was thinking before was that he was going to get the remainder of the season, and they were going to try to do 4 games in the beginning of the next season, and then that would probably get. He would appeal, and then it would go down to maybe 2 games, and then eventually they probably just reinstate him. I think you're right in that it'll just be the rest of the season, and then he'll be ready to go. Maybe they'll keep him out of some preseason games. That's kind of like a see, he's not allowed to get kind of ready for the season. He can still go to OTAs though.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a scary human being. Attacking you with anything, just his body is scary. I was watching the Hard Knocks with the Cleveland Browns, and he is a scarily jacked human being.
Rudolph should probably consider himself lucky.
Yeah,
the way it hit was so odd. It hit the padding almost came down that's circular.
So I'm a former footballer. No, that's not the right term. I'm a former football player. Football lesion. I used to play. I don't know if you've ever had a football helmet on you or if you've ever really held or touched a football helmet.
I think I've been. I've only worn a hockey goalie's helmet.
Gotcha. So
as the closest I could approximate.
So that edge that he got hit with, that's some hard shit right there. It comes obviously, the way mass works. That line, that ridge is very, very solid. It's not probably as bad as if he had turned it around and hit him with the crown, or if he had maybe caught him across the face with the face mask or something. But that hurt. And I'm surprised. I don't know. Was that the very end of the game that happened? I'm not really sure.
It happened after I fell asleep, which was 5 minutes.
If that wasn't the very end of the game, I can't imagine that they wouldn't have had Rudolph in some type of concussion protocol because that crap hurts. I've been hit like that kind of with a helmet with my helmet on, and that shit hurts. And I couldn't imagine being hit that hard with that part of the helmet with just my bare head sticking out. I probably would fall unconscious. But then again, I would probably fall unconscious for most hits to the head.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
We can prove it right now.
Right
while the mic's live.
I don't think that's a good move.
Let's test it. Experiment hour. This is our new segment. It's called the Squad Experiment Hour.
The Squad Experiment Hour.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna beat the shit out of Jerry. See how many, kind of like with the Tootsie Roll. It's like how many hits does it take to get to the center of that fucking big ass skull? We'll fucking test it out. And then post the results in like a week after he goes to see a head doctor.
You're going to be suspended from this podcast indefinitely.
Oh yeah,
we'll reinstate you next season.
Well, that's good because this is probably the last podcast of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Series finale.
This is like a British show. We do one, and then we'll come back in a few years, see how we
Sherlock.
feel. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Jerry's gonna die at the end of this, but then not die.
BBC sponsor us.
Yes. No, I don't want those fucking limey fucks.
You limey bastards.
All right. I got a topic for you. I've been stewing on this one for a while.
All right.
I've been thinking about this.
Zero prep. Here we go. Who preps?
I know, right? For a podcast? No. You just come out here, you spitball, you live large. Blue checkmark humor. Have you been seeing a rise in this type of humor?
Yes.
In not just, internet spaces. I'm seeing it permeate television shows. I'm seeing television shows with checkmark humor, which I have trademarked. That's copyright right there.
Nice.
That's my phrase. I came up with it. I don't care what anyone says. And it's kind of this. For me, it personally kills the immersion. Do you kind of know what I'm talking about? You I guess for
light grasp, light grasp,
like the viewer. I'll explain for the viewer what I think checkmark humor is. I think it's kind of this humor that it's very, very niche. All right, and it kind of doesn't make a joke, but it just makes a reference to kind of something that nobody in the right mind knows what you're talking about. So, para exemple, all right? I'm watching The Good Place the other day, and The Good Place it's still really funny this season and last season, but it's kind of, at least a couple instances an episode, you can really see this kind of checkmark humor kind of weevil its way in. I would say Rick and Morty is in the same exact boat. They can't just let it slide. The real bad example, and you might appreciate this, is so I'm watching it, all right, and the guy from the quote unquote bad place, hell, he's like, oh, I'll get someone really evil. Then he starts listing some evil people. Then he goes, or wait, PewDiePie. I'm like,
yeah,
are you fucking kidding me? First of all, less than 5% of your viewership is going to understand that joke. Right. Okay, you should not be making a joke in a sitcom which less than 5% of your viewer base knows, unless you lampshade it like Archer does.
Yeah.
Where you kind of point out, like Archer will say something no one will understand. They'll go,
like PewDiePie, yeah. Something like that.
But so that's the first issue, and then the second issue is that it's just fucking stupid. I don't know any other way to put it.
It just isn't funny.
No, it is not at all. And then all you're really doing is you're kind of appeasing this small portion of your viewership population to let them know that you guys are smart and funny because you understood this. Rick and Morty has been doing a lot lately.
Yeah.
They make these real life references to shit that's going on, and they don't make a joke, but they just point out this is going on. And therefore, what I just said is funny because this is going on. So therefore it's funny. Yeah. It's circular, but it works if you think about it. So obviously, in the subreddit itself, there's a huge argument about whether or not PewDiePie is a Nazi,
yes,
and or Nazi adjacent,
alt-right, if you will.
Yes. It's like I literally saw someone put it like this: he's either a Nazi, okay.
Those are still around, by the way.
A lot of them. I saw a couple down the street earlier today. I said Heil.
At your rally.
Did weren't you in the crowd for that? You got the e-bike, didn't you?
I was busy.
Okay, I got you.
I'll make it to the next one.
Thanks. Or he does things to which a Nazi does and doesn't care enough to not do them. That's a stretch right there.
Wow, that is. There needs to be a gif of somebody grasping at straws that somebody needs to send at that person because that's ridiculous.
It blows my mind that can be an opinion. Like, listen, man, you may not beat your wife, but you do a lot of things that are similar to wife beaters, and clearly you don't care enough to change those actions. So therefore, the only inference I can draw from that is you fucking beat your wife.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's
and
it.
Nothing you can say will
do
convince
or
me
prove.
otherwise.
Or your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care if she gives a written statement under oath that you have never laid a finger on.
I ripped that affidavit up right in front of your fucking face.
Yeah, but so have you seen this? It's
I could definitely I see I trying to pull on a example from my mind.
It's hard because I think a lot of times it just kind of rolls over you, and
I think I roll at it.
Exactly.
And I kind of forget it.
I was just about to say you just go
yeah,
like and move on with your life.
I'm sure I haven't watched any of it since they cut her from the show, but the Connors, I'm sure they do that the entire show because they were doing it a little bit during when Roseanne was still there.
Sure. And now they almost kind of have to because they're trying to obviously distance themselves from Roseanne, who is a racist or something.
Something.
And not just a pilled up boomer.
And not just a comedian.
What happened back in our parents' days, all right? You know, when their grandparents were all pilled up and not making any sense, they just let it slide.
Yeah. They just didn't have Twitter.
Why won't come on, they've lived hard lives.
Yeah.
Let them fucking just pop whatever they want and say whatever dumb shit they want. You know?
That's what I want for my life.
Exactly. I can't imagine if, you know, in 40 years, I'm high out of my mind, retired, and someone's now calling me out for something I said. I'm not going to know what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm 70 years old. I don't give a fuck anymore.
What are they going to say? What's the youth going to say to us? What's going to be our okay boomer? What are they going to say to us? Okay.
They're already saying okay
Millie?
boomer to us. Millie Vanilli.
Millie Vanilli.
I
never lip sync.
That's what they're gonna call white millennials. In fucking 30 years. Oh god, here come the Millie Vanilli.
Oh man. Trademark.
Yeah, we're locking
trademark whatever the name of this podcast
everything
is.
We've said today is under copyright, under NJAC 5-82. Don't look it up. It's a thing. I'm a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. Trust him. I'm a lawyer adjacent. I have a paralegal degree.
He's not a lawyer, but he does things that lawyers are known to do.
And I don't care to not do them.
So therefore,
heretofore, as aforementioned, hence, lawyer.
Yeah.
So, where's the money?
Yeah, but it's getting a little bit grating. I don't think it's gonna stop either.
Oh, it's not gonna stop.
It's hard to imagine.
This is the shift the culture is taking now, especially with the way that social media works and the way that your status in society works now is you have the outrage culture, and you have the more timid boycotting culture and everything, and you have the way that your blue checkmark humor like that, like there's obviously more that goes into all of that, but just calling what we're talking about today, all of that encompasses just what society is being made up by now, and that's the culture that we kind of are living in, and it's only going to continue to progress because of the way social media and society works.
And I think probably one of the biggest.
That wasn't as deep as it sounds.
I think that's a small portion of what's going on in the world these days. Like it's a small portion of America that's in those circles. I think the issue is a lot of writers are in those specific circles. So it's a lot of almost gamesmanship, like they get their blue check mark, they put in their blue check mark jokes, and they go back to blue check mark land, and they go, look, I did the thing, right?
And that's what drives and shapes the culture. TV shows and just media in general, the music that we listen to, all of it, movies, all of it. It's all derived from what those writers and people who are feeding to those writers are doing, and I can't see a way for it to not happen. Can you?
I cannot.
You cannot.
Very, very astute observations.
It wasn't.
It was deeper than it sounded, to be quite honest.
This time it was?
No.
All right.
But you're trying.
One of those days.
You're trying to have some deep thoughts.
One of these days. I'll be known as the greatest philosopher.
Yeah, you're trying to analyze the world. I can see.
I am an analyst.
And a therapist? An hourpist?
Yes.
No, this isn't.
We don't do that.
We're not allowed to. No references. This isn't reference. No. Not even.
Not even general references.
What if it was like? Yeah. What if it was like Anchorman though? Wait. Here's the thing. Step Brothers.
Did we just become best friends?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, we were already best friends. It's all right.
Not for long. Not after this podcast.
Shit.
I told him.
My alpha wedding then.
Yeah. If we don't get 100 views on this bad boy.
100 views?
Yeah.
Shooting for the stars, man.
1,000? 10,000?
Does Joe Rogan even get that many?
He gets a few. It depends. It's guest dependent.
Jamie, look that up real quick.
Yo, you ever see a chimpanzee fucking dick off?
What's up?
Can we just copy his format?
I don't think he bind.
Think we can get like Neil deGrasse Tyson on tomorrow?
Nice.
Tyson.
No, that's what he would prefer to be called here with us.
I guarantee he probably sits by his phone waiting for podcast invitations.
Yeah.
He'll come on and he'll just,
as long as you let him talk.
Exactly.
I'll shut up for half an hour and let him just go.
Zero interrupting. Just let the man bloviate.
Yeah. Just bring up a topic. It doesn't matter if it's scientific. He'll work his way around to it.
So stars, huh?
Yeah. How about that scene in the Titanic that was wrong and you got him to change the movie? James Cameron waiting the beck and call.
He got ass blasted recently. You remember that?
Talk about people being outraged about something, outraged about him, just in general with the things that he says when he
said. It was. By the way, no lies said in his thing. Just
never.
Poor timing. Let's call it.
Yeah, but
maybe wait a week.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think for someone like him, it's on brand, and I think for someone like him, he needs to be who he is. He needs to kind of have almost that quick timing with something like that, because a week later, people, like we were saying, people might not care as much. He wants to get it out there in the purview as quickly as possible.
That's true.
Potentially, like talking about the gun related deaths and all of that. It sucks, and it's hard for the people who are most directly affected to see something like that.
Exactly.
But it's true, and it's not like he's sitting there like, I think it's this. He's like, no, here's some data.
Here are literal facts.
Yeah, and he's a scientist, and even if it wasn't a scientist, as long as you reference it, that's something that should be put out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. If he waits a week to say this, people are really, what are you even talking about?
Right.
I'm playing Pokemon right now. Shut up.
Exactly. I get it. If I was directly affected by it, I would be mad that he put that out there. Maybe in a week I'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm looking at that a little more closely.
I lost an arm, but
yeah,
I was more likely to lose one in a car accident. That's a good point, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, good point, Neil. NDT.
Yeah. Black Science Man.
Black Science Man. I would love to have him on. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I know you're listening. Come on. I'll let you say whatever you want. Man, within reason. I don't know what's going on up in that dome of yours. A lot of stuff.
No. New name for the podcast is Neil deGrasse Tyson Unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
like never before heard.
Bigger, longer, uncut.
That's what the people want.
It is. it is. That's why he keeps going on Joe Rogan.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah. We probably won't have guests.
No.
Guests suck. Because the only reason I'm saying that is because nobody would want to go.
It would literally just be our friends.
Yeah. Our friends are funny.
Hey.
We have friends still?
I mean, what are we going to turn this into the nerd power hour? Get Brian on here?
Hey.
Dude will talk about fucking magic for an hour.
We can talk about magic. We can talk about D&D. We can talk about video games. Talk about anything. I don't really care.
That's true.
That's part of a lot of probably what the topic's going to be on on this podcast.
No, literally only current event. We're a current event podcast.
Current event podcast?
I thought we were a current event podcast.
I don't even watch the news.
We're a nerd podcast?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second.
We didn't think this through.
Hold on, we got some stuff to work
through. Oh, wait, cut.
You said we were being no. Current events. But did you not get my email?
No, who reads email? Just text me.
No, but this is a formal thing. Formal things are done through formal communication.
I don't even have
I can't even
email. What are you talking about?
No, it was Party Guy 69. Is that not you?
No.
Oh shit.
No. Party Guy 69420.
Oh, fuck.
At blazeit.com.
All right. We'll work through this later. For right now, we're a current nerd event podcast.
Yes. We're nerd. We're current events nerd adjacent.
Nerd adjacent. We're not nerds, but we do things that nerds are known to do.
Yeah. So speaking of that, how you liking our current D&D game that we're doing?
No, we can't do it.
No, can't talk
stop
about
it. You stop it.
Stop it.
He's trying to transition. I will not allow transition. No.
Or transition.
No. We were locked in.
What were we just locked in on?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know either. You lost me after Myles Garrett.
Yeah. We had some mean topics today.
Yeah, we did. What are we at right now?
We're at a good amount of time.
We're closing in on the hour mark there.
Are we?
Yeah. What's that? That's
shit.
We're closing in on it.
Wow.
We can fill another 10 minutes roughly.
Another 10 minutes.
I think we can.
Ugh.
By the way, no cuts.
No cuts.
Everything in here has been gold.
But except right now.
Right now, cut.
Okay.
All right.
Now this last 9 minutes.
Yes.
It's a 9-minute podcast.
Yeah.
The previous 51 minutes we just cut. For the viewers who are just coming in,
right.
This is a current events podcast.
Right. We'll hold that on our true website. The early stuff.
Yes.
You got to subscribe.
You got a Patreon.
Right. You got to go through Patreon. You'll
$50 a month.
Yes.
For a tier 1 subscriber.
Right.
We'll get.
I don't know if there's lower tiers.
We'll get you the full uncut podcast and Jerry's butthole picks.
Full and uncut.
Full, yeah. You're uncut?
No.
That's
not what I meant.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
No butthole picks. Nobody wants that. Come on, man.
I always thought
this is a great way to fill the 9 minutes.
I know. Wouldn't it be cool if we kind of? Yeah, so let me lead into this. We're living in right now, like the remake portion of our life. So everything's being remade.
Yeah.
We're really.
I can do a whole podcast on this shit, but we'll save the major point of this.
So
go ahead.
So we're really leaning into this whole remakes and reboot shit. What if we rebooted or remade some of the old classic nasty websites? We're bringing back Goatsy. We got Goatsy 2.0. We got Tub Girl. Now she's even fatter and more disgusting. All right. We're bringing back Lemon Party. All right. These dicks are wrinklier than they used to be. Okay. We got Meat Spin. That thing's spinning fucking 10. This is an ADHD generation. That thing's got to spin faster. All right. That thing was going at a slow pace before. We reboot these motherfuckers. Rick Astley. Get that motherfucker in a recording studio and fucking re-record that shit.
Oh, yeah. We got to do the full remix.
No. You know what? We don't even have Rick Astley. We're redoing it. We're having Post Malone. Dude, never gonna give you up.
I can't even do a Post Malone voice. I don't have that.
Do we have reverb? Jamie, hit the reverb.
Never gonna give you up.
Just fucking shove a bunch of tattoos in your goddamn face. And drink some Bud Light. And boom, you're there. No, but wouldn't that be great? Like these new memes for a new generation. They never really got to fully appreciate Goatsy, you know? Now we can really bring it to the Zoomers. The Zoomers are missing out.
The Zoomers
I feel like they never had to go through the shit that we had to go through.
My brother doesn't understand my humor at all. So that would
there's a huge split in humor between Zoomers and millennials. We do not find the same shit funny.
No,
and even when we were that age, we did not find the same shit funny.
Do they even find things funny? I don't know if I've ever heard a Zoomer laugh. I've heard them go.
Yeah, no, I think I don't.
I definitely spend more time around Zoomers than you probably do.
My little brother's a Zoomer, I think. He's 18. Is that a Zoomer?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. He's a Zoomer.
Yeah, my little brother, he's 16. He's a Zoomer.
Yeah.
But I also, I frequent the parks. I like to hang out there, play some Pokemon Go. Not really. I don't play that anymore. I was playing it today.
Did you boycott?
No boycott.
Okay.
I just lost interest. It was
you
pretty
wouldn't even be boycotting the correct company. Boycotting Niantic.
I did when I downloaded that Harry Potter game that they had, and there's too much. It was too much. Needed to be Pokemon Go, but Harry Potter.
And it wasn't.
There was too much. Too many screens.
Interesting.
But about 4 screens is about as much as I can take.
How do you even screw that up?
I don't know. I don't know how they could say.
Well, I thought they screwed up Pokemon Go, but clearly it's still got a
They started to. Although, so I played a little today just because I had heard through the grapevine it was Chimchar, everybody's favorite
Chimchar,
starter Pokemon, Chimchar.
Yeah.
It was Community Day, so I wanted to see if I can grab a shiny, just because why not? We went to Target today and a couple other places. Target sponsor us. So I just wanted to see if I could catch that. No shiny the whole time, but. I tried to battle just to see if it was still the same. No, they changed it. It's interesting. They changed a little bit of the battle system, not just tap taparoo anymore. For the initial part, yes, it's tap. Once you do your big move, though, it's swipies.
Oh shit!
And it's different swipies.
Oh shit!
If you're doing certain moves, you got to swipe down like this and up. Certain moves is like over here, then over here, then over here. It was interesting.
Wow!
It's still
a whole new goddamn
it's
world.
Still bad, but it's not as bad.
Okay.
So, yeah. How do we get to Pokemon Go from here? Zoomers.
Yeah, Zoomers.
Do they find anything funny?
Yes. No.
Truly funny?
No.
Do they even watch comedies?
Yeah, I think Zoomers are really into The Office.
I mean, I'm into The Office, too.
Yeah, so that's probably...
Seasons 1 through 7.
I think that's the thing bringing all the generations together. I don't think I've met a single human being that went, that Office, I sure didn't care for that. Zoomers love it. Look at Billie Eilish is obsessed with it, all right?
Who? No,
Millennials,
I know who
our parents,
yeah,
they love it.
Yeah.
Everybody loves The Office. So if there's one
it's
thing to
Steve
bring
Carell.
us all together, I don't even think it's him. I think it's Jim. I think it's everybody likes Jim. Because for
you can't
us,
see I'm doing the Jim face right now.
It was terrible.
Spot on.
It looked like Rainn Wilson doing the Jim face in that one cold open.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
We said no reference.
No.
We lost.
Step Brothers.
Put $1 in the reference jar.
It's in. You can't hear. It's there.
No, I think so.
No
I think everybody finds them funny, and so the youngins want to grow up to be Jim. The millennials wish that they were Jim at their office, and the old people look back on life and be like, I wish I was like that instead of the stone cold dead inside.
The old people. I think you mean boomers.
No, we don't.
We don't go.
No, that's like a slur.
No. It's not a slur. Don't feed into that.
I read an article.
You read an article?
Yeah. Are you telling me the article was wrong?
I'm telling you the article is incorrect, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna need cited scientific sources.
Oh, I'm writing my whole thesis statement on this.
Okay. Well, I won't believe you until then. Yeah. Until then, that one article defined my entire perspective on the issue.
That works. I mean, that's how most Americans do.
Let's not make broad strokes about human beings in our first podcast. Save that for like the third
one. All right.
Yeah. Everybody is unique. You're not all the same.
Yes. Some will call you snowflakes.
And we are the only two white guys sitting across the table from each other doing a podcast right now.
I prefer Milli Vanillis.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I love it. We're just about out of time. So hey, like, share, subscribe on anything that's podcast-ish, and Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Good way to end it.
High five.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
Smash it hard.
Godspeed, my friends.